All right. Good afternoon, you all. Greetings to the class of 2022. We're going to get started with the 11th grade College Center info session here in a bit. We're going to wait for a few more students to come in, but while we're waiting, go ahead and log into the link on the screen. That's going to be bit.ly/HISD, all caps texting, TEXTING. This is case sensitive, so just watch how you type that in. And this is going to take you to a form where the College Center is going to collect your email address and your phone number so we can stay in communication with you all over the next 18 months. Okay? So we're going to give you all a little bit of time to work on that link, and we'll be back in about 5 minutes to get started with today's presentation. All right, for those of y'all who are just joining us, good afternoon. We're going to get started with the 11th grade College Center info session here at about 3:05. But in the meantime, in between time, go ahead and go to that bit.ly link on the screen. It's going to be bit.ly/HISD, all caps texting, TEXTING. This is where we're going to collect your information for us to be able to send out any updates that we may have throughout the year on scholarships, deadlines, do's and don'ts, so tips and advice that you may need, as well as any text reminders whenever we have major issues that you need to attend to, or we want to remind you of some fun opportunities. So go ahead, give us your email address, your personal email address that you will be using, not the HISD email address, and then go ahead and give us your personal cell phone number. We're going to get started here in about 2 more minutes. 2 more minutes. So if you have any other friends in the class of 2022, go ahead and let them know to join us. All right, time to almost get started. We're going to let a few more people come in. And like I mentioned, if you were just now joining us, there's a bit.ly link on the screen. Go ahead and go to that link. That's going to be bit.ly/HISD, all caps texting, TEXTING. This is going to take you to a form where we're going to collect your personal email address as well as your phone number so us in the College Center can stay up to date with you all about any changes or announcements. It's going to be super important that you give us this information now because this is going to be the information we use to communicate with you all over the summer and let you all know about some opportunities that we're going to have, some workshops, as well as any financial aid or scholarships that may come about. So definitely you're going to want to give us this information, stay in contact with the College Center so we can stay in contact with you. But without much further ado, class of 2022, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Devontae Lee. I am the College Access Coordinator here at Bel Air High School. I'm located in the College Center with my lovely coworker, Mr. Marcus Stewart. I don't know if he's going to pop in. He may come in the middle of the presentation. There we go.
Hey guys, how you doing?
But we are here in the College Center to help you all with anything that you all need from A to Z as it pertains to whatever your goals are after high school. Okay. We understand that the college application process is usually difficult in any given year, and especially right now that we're in the middle of a pandemic, it's very difficult. So there's a lot of ins and outs and little details that you all need to know to be set up for success. And we're going to make sure we set you up for success in today's presentation. So whether your end goal is a 2-year trade college, whether it's a 4-year Ivy League, whether it's your local state flagship like Texas A&M or University of Texas at Austin, or whether you're looking to go away and join maybe the military. We're here in the College Center to help you with that. All right, so let's get started with this presentation. Today on our agenda, we're going to talk about Naviance and why that's going to be important for you all moving into senior year. We're going to talk about 2 of the entrance exams for colleges, the SAT and the ACT. Do you need to take them and which one? We're going to talk a bit about what all goes into an application when we're applying senior year and the different types of admissions that we can apply for. We're going to hit on how to do research on different colleges or the best colleges for you. We're going to talk about money because everyone loves money, as well as we're going to end with things that you can do over the summer to set yourself up for success. And we're going to end with a senior panel where we're going to invite some members of the class of 2021 to come in and tell you all about their experience this year. Maybe you can ask some questions or ask for any tips or anything, okay? Mentioning questions, I will be presenting live right now, but while I'm presenting, Mr. Stewart's gonna be in the chat answering any questions that you all may have. So if it's relevant and appropriate, please go ahead and ask and we may share it with the other students. But Naviance, let's start. So Naviance is going to be our one-stop shop where we live and breathe in as seniors. Naviance is how we, the College Center, communicate with you all and how you all communicate your post-secondary plans with us. So Naviance is going to be where we put all of our colleges that we're applying to as seniors. Naviance is also going to be home to where we request our letters of recommendations. Naviance is a great research tool if we're lost and confused or don't know where to start. And last but not least, here at Bel Air High School, we use Naviance to request transcripts for colleges or scholarships. So if you aren't familiar with Naviance, I highly recommend you take some time over the next week during spring break just to learn the ins and outs of it, okay? Anything in this presentation that's highlighted in blue and underlined is going to be a hyperlink. So when we send this presentation out, you're more than welcome to come over here. We click on Naviance and it'll take us directly to the Bel Air login for Naviance, as well as there are some helpful videos on how to help navigate Naviance, okay? But as juniors right now, you all are gonna be mostly looking at colleges I'm thinking about. This is where we're gonna put our college list of schools that we may apply to next year or we may not. It's just our running list. So we always have it. It's online. Us, the College Center, can see it. You all, the students, can see it, and everyone's good. As we move into senior year, your colleges are going to move from thinking about to applying to, as we start those applications. So just keep that in mind. And all of that lives under the college tab in Naviance. So that's going to be an upper right-hand corner. Next to that is going to be the About Me tab. And this is going to be home to a lot of important information for you all as far as your numbers or your academic profile. So in the About Me tab, we can find your current GPA. So a lot of students come to me, Mr. Lee, I don't know what my GPA is. That's okay. Log into Naviance and we can see what's your most accurate GPA outside of Power School. Okay. And additionally, you all took the SAT, the actual SAT last Wednesday. So when those scores become available, not only will you be able to find them at collegeboard.org, but you'll also be able to find a copy of them in your Naviance account. So if you're ever unsure, you can check Naviance for your GPA as well as your test scores. And then last but not least, a lot of students come to me and they're like, Mr. Lee, I don't know what I want to do. I'm at square one. I'm at the beginning. I'm lost about everything. So usually those are the students who may not have an idea of what they want to study or the career that they want to go into. So in Naviance, we offer some assessments to help students find out where their strengths lie, as well as what are some jobs that they may already have skills that align with those jobs. Okay. So I definitely recommend take a look at Strengths Explorer in Naviance, do what you are, as well as the Career Interest Profiler if we're trying to see what we're good at and what we possibly may pursue outside of high school. At the end of each slide, we're going to give you all prescriptions or a to-do list on things that you need to do in this category to be successful over the next 6 months as we get started with this college exploration journey. Okay, so your prescription for Naviance is to, one, complete the form to sign up for texting and emails. So that's going to be this bit.ly link right here. You can click on it and it'll take you directly there. Your second prescription is to add colleges you're interested in into the Colleges I'm Thinking About tab on Naviance. And then last but not least, let's go ahead and complete at least one of those assessments on the About Me tab of Naviance, whether that's the Strength Explorer, the Do What You Are, or the Career Interest Profiler. All right, so after we become familiar with Naviance and we know what it's for, I then tell students it's very important that we know our numbers. And part of knowing your numbers is knowing your academic profile. A lot of students say, okay, Mr. Lee, I know I need to take the SAT, ACT, I don't have scores. So before we go into SAT, ACT, I wanted to tell you all about one of the results of the pandemic, which is a lot of colleges and universities going test optional or test flexible. So what that means is a lot of universities are not making it a requirement for students to turn in the SAT or ACT scores to be considered for admissions. Okay, so you have the option to turn it in or the option to not turn it in. Test flexible schools are going to be those schools that are flexible with which test you turn in. So maybe you don't turn in the SAT or the ACT, but maybe we turn in a subject test, or maybe we use our AP scores or our IB scores in lieu of a SAT or ACT. Okay, so that's going to be test optional and test flexible. Now, a lot of schools have been trending this direction over the last year due to the pandemic. So some schools have said, hey, 2020 through 2021, we're going test optional for that year only. A lot of schools have made this adjustment permanent. So I know the University of California system, those schools have permanently done away with the SAT and ACT requirements, okay? A lot of universities have made way for one more year of doing away with those test scores as well, such as I think today we found out about the University of Texas at Austin is still going test optional next year, as well as Texas Tech University has made the decision already to go test optional for next year. So when schools are going test optional, they're not going to look at your SAT or ACT scores, but they're going to put a heavier emphasis on all the other factors that go into your admissions process. So they're going to take a look at your grades. Did you take the most rigorous courses at your high school as possible? And did you do well in those courses? They're going to take a look at your essays that you have to write, or they may ask you to write additional essays in placement of those test scores. They're going to look at your recommendation letters as well as your extracurricular activities. So we're just looking at those other factors with a deeper magnifying glass. And I like this option for students who may have test anxiety or hate testing in general, or for those students who are more concerned about their health and safety and just don't think right now is the best time to take a test. So to check to see what your school is offering or the schools that you're interested, what they're going to be offering for the next school year, I recommend you check on the website Fair Test, which is linked right here, as well as College Transitions to see if the schools that you're interested are listed on their test optional pages. Or for the most up-to-date information, you can always check the official admissions website of your university. So for instance, if we're looking at Sam Houston State University, I would search their admissions website to see what their test policy is or their testing policy, okay? Please keep in mind, test option or test flexible admissions might put you at a disadvantage from merit-based scholarship. So these are the scholarships that are based off of your good grades and your high scores, okay? Some schools will consider you despite not submitting your SAT or ACT scores because they'll look strictly at your transcript. So keep that in mind as you're doing research on these colleges, universities. What do I need to do to make my senior year as easy as possible? Okay. So your prescription for test optional, test flexible is to check the school's testing policy and the admissions requirements. For those students who do have to test, that's great because last week was the in-school SAT, and that was our first opportunity given to us for free. And hopefully if we do well, we won't have to retest. Okay. But for those students who may be applying to a college that will look at their SAT score, or if the admissions rep at that university told you that submitting your SAT or ACT scores will put you at an advantage, then we definitely want to recommend that you take those tests. Okay. We recommend that you take both the tests. Both tests are going to help get you to the journey that you need to. Most colleges don't favor one test over the other. You can take the SAT or the ACT. Depending on which test we take, there are some goal scores that we're going to want to get. Okay, so if we take the SAT, we're going to want to get at least a 10-10. And that way, we won't have to take any additional tests for colleges, such as the Texas Success Initiative or the TSI test for college placement. So if we do well on the SAT and we score well, not only can we get admitted to universities, but it can help place us in our right classes for those same universities. Okay, so if you look at the screen, we want at least a 480 on the reading section, at least a 530 on the math section to be set up for success. Or if we're doing the ACT, we're going to want a 23 total on the ACT with at least a 19 or higher in the reading section, or at least a 19 and higher in the math section. Should you be looking to take these tests, we do offer fee waivers in the College Center to cover the cost of the test. Usually, we ask students to submit the socioeconomic form, which was sent out by Ms. Mulette, the testing coordinator, at the beginning of the year. If you didn't, that's okay. Just email me and I can get you that form. Once you've been approved for Title I benefits through that socioeconomic form, then I can get you your fee waiver that you need to sign up for the test. Okay. So with this fee waiver, you can get 2 ACTs for free, 2 SATs for free, as well as 6 subject tests should you need to take subject tests. And I enjoy it because we can send our scores to various colleges for free, unlimited. Okay. Signing up for these testing fee waivers also allow us to have application fee waivers where we can apply to college for free as well. So SAT gives you 4, ACT gives you 4, as well as if you qualify for the fee waiver, you can get free online test prep through Kaplan for ACT. So if you qualify for a fee waiver, we're definitely going to want to take advantage of them because they come with a lot of benefits. But regardless if you have a fee waiver or not, SAT, ACT, you can take either test multiple times until you get the score that you would like. Okay. Colleges are only going to look at the best score that you send them. So I always recommend students send all of your scores and let the university do with it what they choose. Universities aren't looking to hold anything against you or penalize you. So they're only going to look at the best scores or try to put your scores together in the best way to make you shine. So again, take time to do research to see if you still need to take subject tests. Again, a lot of schools have went away with needing that requirement, so we don't have to worry about that. And thought I took that bottom part out. You all have already taken the in-school SAT, but if you missed that opportunity, we can still get you signed up for the May 8th SAT. That's going to be on a Saturday. Bel Air is already filled as a testing center, but we can definitely get you to another high school that's nearby, get you testing, and have those scores before we move into the summer. Okay, so your prescription for SAT and ACT, if you should you need the test, I want you all to prepare either on Khan Academy or ACT Prep, and then let's complete all SAT and ACT tests before the start of senior year. If we get all of our testing done early on, we won't have to worry about trying to fit a test in first semester of senior year. We're trying to focus on classes, extracurricular activities, applications, essays, and we don't want to add testing as one more stressor. All right, one more time. These are all the different ways that we offer test prep here at Bel Air. So the first one is Khan Academy. A lot of you all have used that in your classes, and I love Khan Academy for 3 reasons. One, it is free. We love free things here in the College Center, so definitely take advantage of that. 2, it's from the creators of the SAT. So in essence, they're giving you a free study guide to their test. And the third reason I like Khan Academy is because research has shown if we put in at least 20 hours of prep on Khan Academy, we could potentially increase our score by 100 points or more. We've seen it here in the College Center. We've helped students over the years increase those scores. So if you are a little concerned about your SAT score when we get those back in May, or if you already know, hey, I need some help before I sit down and take my next one, go ahead and get on Khan Academy. You can link your College Board account with your PSAT scores or your in-school SAT, figure out which sections you need the most help on, and Khan Academy uses AI learning to help you with those sections. The next tool is going to be ACT Academy, and we can find that at academy.act.org. And similar to Khan Academy, this is just free personalized prep based off the ACT testing format. So should you exhaust all your Khan Academy resources, your ACT resources, and you want to try something else, we do offer Apex tutorials for SAT. Yes, we offer Apex tutorials for SAT through the hub under digital resources. So students go to the hub under digital resources, click on Apex tutorials, and then this code that's on the screen, you can take that code and put it in, and then it'll help you sign up for some online prep, go through those questions, get some practice tests done, and let's build up those skills. So our prescription for test prep, let's link our College Board and our College Board accounts and our Khan Academy accounts, and let's get the practicing. Again, the next SAT that you all can take is going to be May 8th. So we have about 2 months to get some really intense studying done should we want to take that test. The next ACT is going to be mid-April, and the deadline to sign up for that is actually this Friday. So if you have questions about those, send us an email. We can talk more. So we understand that everyone's path to college isn't going to look the same. Okay. We understand that some people may want to pursue a 4-year degree that leads them to a master's degree, a professional degree, or even a doctoral degree. However, some students may be content with going to a 2-year college where they only have to go to school for 6 months to earn a certificate or a trade degree, or they may want to take that 6 months, add 18 more months and make it a 2-year associate's degree that they can use to later transfer to a 4-year institution. Okay, so whatever your path is, we're here to help you in the College Center. We're well versed in the different pathways, and we can definitely help you get to your goal. But we can't help you get there if you don't do the research on what's right for you. So When we say research here in the College Center, there are a lot of different things that we're talking about for you to become experts in to see if this is the right university for you. So in research, there are some things that we need to know and some things that would be nice to know. When I say do research, I want you to research our match factor. So the things that are going to match us with a university. So that's going to be the name of the university, the location of the university, city, state, and area, the major or program of study that you're interested in. Do they offer it? If they don't call it specifically what you're looking for, do they call it kind of something else around that name? What's the cost of attendance to attend this school for 1 year? And we'll talk about that here in a bit more. What's the average SAT or ACT score accepted? We may want to look in the last year or the last 2 years to get that information. And then what's the average GPA to be accepted to that university? So these are all things we need to know about each school when we apply to them, so we're set up for success and we're not applying to schools that may be out of our range or schools that may not have our interests at all. Now, some additional factors about the university that would be nice to know would be the size. Are we going to a large university, a small university? And if so, what does that even mean? The curriculum style. So are we going to a large state school that may have a core curriculum where you have to take these classes? Or are we going to a school that may have a liberal arts curriculum where you have a bit more freedom in what you study, how you study, and how all of your courses connect? If diversity is important to you, that's something we're definitely going to want to look at in a university, in whatever diversity means to you. Research opportunities, job placement, and extracurricular activities are all additional things that we may want to look for in a university because they help us enjoy our time while we're there. All right, so your research prescriptions. I want you all to create a list of at least 3 criterias that you're looking for in a university. So if you're looking to stay in Texas, that may be one thing. If you're looking for a large university for the college experience, that may be another thing. And you may want to study engineering, so that may be the third thing. If you have all of that, that's great. And that helps us then move into our second prescription, adding at least 5 schools to colleges I'm thinking about on Naviance by the last day of school. Okay, by the last day of school. And in this list, we're going to want to have a mixture of schools. We're going to want to have 2 safety schools. So schools that you have a really high chance of getting into, or maybe automatic admissions. We're going to want at least 2 target schools. This is going to be schools where we're right in the middle, the average student, the perfect student that they're looking for. And we may want to include 1 reach school, one school that may seem totally out of your bounds. It may be a dream school, but we're still going to try to see if we can achieve it over the next 18 months. All right, so some tools for research. So we say do this research, where are we gonna go? What can we utilize, okay? So right now we're living in a digital age, so definitely let's utilize our websites, okay? Like I said earlier, Naviance is gonna be your one-stop shop where we live and breathe as seniors and here at Bel Air, so become familiar with that. Next is gonna be collegeboard.org. Again, this is where we're gonna sign up for the SAT test, but they also have some really neat college research tools on there, such as Big Future. If you like numbers and you like data and you're a nerd like me, college data is a really good place to go to for looking at that academic profile that we talked about. So if we're trying to see what's the average GPA or what's the average SAT or ACT, or if we want to see what's the average financial aid given by university, I definitely recommend college data. That's where we go for all of our numbers. And when in doubt, if you want to know the most accurate information, we always recommend visiting the university's websites. So if we're interested in University of Pennsylvania, we'll go to upenn.edu. If we're interested in UCLA, ucla.edu. All right. Second tool for research is visits. Texas is beginning to reopen as a state, which means there are going to be some potential new opportunities to go out and about. Okay. So I definitely recommend, if we have those opportunities, maybe for spring break or as we begin opening up into the summer, definitely let's visit some of our local universities. Houston is a hub of some amazing universities right here in our own backyard. So let's start local before we go elsewhere to see what they offer. So we can visit universities like the U of H, or University of Houston, Texas Southern University, Houston Baptist University, or Rice University. And I think that would give you all a great mixture of a large state school, a historically Black college or university, maybe a religious institution or a private school. And then we have our large private research institutions or Ivy Light schools. So I think we have a great mixture right here in Houston. Visit those schools. You can see what you like, what you don't like, compare and contrast. If we're not able to get up and get out, we're definitely going to want to still connect with our admissions reps. Here in the College Center, during the fall, we have college reps every day coming to talk to the students, trying to inform you all about their opportunities that they can provide, wanting to learn more about who you are and what sparks your motivation. So definitely let's connect with our college reps, whether it's a virtual college visit, maybe we set up a one-on-one appointment or a one-on-one call with them. A lot of universities, excuse me, have become creative in how they try to interact and reach out to students. So a lot of them have been doing small group meetings or meetings related to just your major. So definitely let's try to find a way to connect with our universities at least one or two times throughout the year, because some of our universities track how often you interact with them. It's called demonstrated interest, and they use that to help decide if you're going to be accepted or denied to their university. Another tool for research is one of my pride and joys here in the College Center. It is the Bel Air High School College Fair. We host that every October, and we are one of the largest college fairs in all of Houston Independent School District, home to over 200 various colleges and universities, international schools, out-of-state schools, Ivies, Ivy Lights. Your Texas Publics will be there. Your Texas Privates will be there. So join us here at Bel Air. This year we had to have it virtual, and it was great. We still don't know what the fall is going to look like. It may be virtual, it may be in person, but definitely stay on the lookout for more information about that. And then if you want any other little bits of information, I recommend blogs, articles, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. I personally enjoy listening to podcasts about college. I have one that I listened to just yesterday about how students are navigating the pandemic and college access. I know a lot of students get their advice, even though I don't advise it, from TikTok. Okay. So if it's something good and it may be relevant and you think it may be relevant to you, run it by the College Center and we can say yay or nay. But we definitely recommend, let's try to find college or college access in other places than the College Center and your parents, because after a while, it gets repetitive. So, your prescription for tools for research. Let's try to visit at least two college campuses before the end of your fall semester of senior year. Okay. So that gives us 12 months to try to visit at least two college campuses. We have spring break, we have summer, we have potentially fall break. So if we need to, we have time scheduled. Let's find a way to meet with these schools. Come visit with at least three colleges between now and December during lunch. So those are going to be our virtual visits. So sign up for at least three virtual visits and come and meet with those reps. You can find our schedule for virtual visits emailed out in the friendly reminders that you all will start getting your senior year. Or if you would like to see a full list, you can check Naviance to see who's coming in a few weeks. And when in doubt, don't forget to follow us on Twitter at BHS College and at our Instagram, which we just took all of our pictures off, and we're going to get ready to start that back up for the class of 2022. And that's going to be at BHS College Bound on Instagram. Show us some love, follow us, and please utilize all these different ways to do research. All right. I think this is my last slide. All right. So money, 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 money. This is a big topic in the College Center. Students are always like, I don't want to apply to this college because it costs too much. I don't want to apply to college at all because it costs too much. I'm worried. I don't know what to do. I'm freaking out. We want to let you all know We are here to help you in the College Center. But this is a conversation that we need to start now, having those deep conversations with ourselves, because I don't want you all lying to yourself. And then we need to have those deep conversations with our parents. If you do the research early on and you present this information to your parents, it's just going to show them that you went above and beyond to understand what you're getting yourself set up for, and that you're not jumping into something without knowing the consequences. So do the research on the cost of attendance, and let's schedule those college affordability meetings with our parents. So what do we need to research? The cost of attendance. This is going to be that big sticker price that we put on each university. But in this big sticker price, there are a lot of little categories that make up that number. So one thing that we'll have to pay for in the cost of attendance is the tuition and fees. That's going to be what classes do I take and how much do I pay for those classes. We also have to pay for room and board. That's where am I sleeping and what am I eating while I'm in college. In college, unlike high school, you have to pay for your own books and supplies. So we have to factor that cost in as well, so it's not sprung on us in the middle of the semester. And universities are usually good about providing an estimate of how much the student will need for personal spending or for travel funds to get to and from the university daily, or to get to and from their home state or home city. So all of this is going to go into that big sticker price and make it either more expensive for some students or less expensive for some students. So keep that in mind as you're doing research. Don't let that sticker price scare you away from applying to a university. We can use such tools as the net price calculators found on the financial aid websites of each university to help see how much it's going to cost your family specifically for that university. So the net price calculator usually includes any scholarships that you potentially could win, any federal grants that you may potentially be awarded, and it's not set in stone, but it's a good estimate to show you what you're working with. The FAFSA and the TASFA, so that's the free application for federal student aid, and the Texas application for student financial aid, they both open October 1st, 2021. These are going to be our big financial aid applications that we fill out for money for college. Our U.S. citizens and permanent residents will fill out the FAFSA. If you are undocumented, but you've lived in Texas at least 3 years before we graduate, you're going to fill out the TASFA. Both of these applications are going to use the 2020 taxes. These are the taxes that your parents are preparing right now as we speak. The deadline should be April 15th. So right after your parents are done with those taxes, tell them to go ahead and put their 1040 tax return in a safe place, because we're going to need to pull that right back out when October comes. Additionally, the CSS profile, which is for some of our private institutions and how they spend their money, that application is going to open October 1st as well. Unlike FAFSA, where we only use the 2020 taxes, the CSS profile looks a little deeper into the family finances, and we're going to use the 2020, 2019, and 2018 taxes. So go ahead and get those prepared if we know we're applying to those top tier institutions. And when in doubt, we love you here in the College Center. So we have put together a one-stop shop for all of your scholarship needs called Cash for Cards. At Cash for Cards, you can click on this hyperlink and it'll take you to our spreadsheet. In that spreadsheet, we'll give you the name of the scholarship, how much the scholarship is for, the deadline, as well as the criteria that you need to qualify for that scholarship. If you have all that information on the right, we'll give you a link where you can click, apply, and we make it that easy. So if we take the time to curate the list of scholarships for you all, we ask that you all go on there, do some independent research, and see which opportunities you personally qualify for. But lastly, we don't want any of you to get discouraged from applying to a university because you think it costs too much or it's too expensive or it's out of your bounds. If we do the research now, that gives us a long enough time to look for all scholarship opportunities, apply for any grants or loans that we may need to, or any backup universities that may be more cost affordable. So your prescription: research the cost of attendance for your top 3 schools. Remember those schools we're putting in Naviance. And then go ahead and set up a meeting with your family to talk about college affordability. Okay. Remember, if you present the research to your family, they'll have a better understanding of what the next 18 months will look like, and we'll be moving in the right direction. They'll also have a little more confidence in you, in your research abilities, and your next steps. All right. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Mr. Stewart. I'll let him introduce himself to you all. And we're getting there. Yeah, go ahead and present.
Okay, sounds good. All right, good afternoon, Bel Air Juniors. I am Mr. Stewart. Um, for those of you who do not know who I am, I do work alongside Mr. Lee here in the College Center. I'm officially the College and Career Readiness Advisor. So just so like you all can book appointments with him and ask him any questions regarding the college application or financial aid process, I am here to assist you all as well. So now I'm going to pick up where Mr. Lee left off, and we're going to start talking about applications. I was answering questions in the chat. So if you do have any questions, I know I saw some regarding applications and what to send in, what to submit, test scores, all that type of stuff. But please listen up. So applications. So the programs that we use for students to submit applications are Apply Texas, which is used to apply to any 2-year or 4-year college or university in the state of Texas. Common App, which has Texas schools as well as schools that are outside the state of Texas. And Coalition, which is very similar to Common App. This is what you'll definitely use to apply to certain universities outside the state, and individual applications, which are just schools who have their own admissions applications through them on their website. So that's the difference. The biggest one that you'll always hear us talk about, just because we know a lot of you will most likely apply to schools that are in the state of Texas, is Apply Texas. So this is what you'll use. Any school that you're thinking about that's in Texas, this is what you're going to use to submit your application. You can use Common App as well if you feel a little more comfortable with it, but Apply Texas will definitely be one that we push to you all. GPA and rank at the end of junior year. So you want to make sure that you review your transcripts by the end of the year. If you're planning on applying to any universities over the summer or in the fall, or if you're planning to applying to any schools whose deadline is in the fall, such as a UT or A&M, you want to make sure that you know your GPA at the end of the semester, because this is the GPA and transcript that you're going to use. You won't be evaluated for any schools that who have deadlines in the fall. You won't be evaluated off of what you do your senior year. Is going to be all the way up to what you've done freshman, sophomore year, and all the way up until the end of this semester. Your class rank will be available in the summer. So when you all do start filling out those applications after July or August 1st, when it asks for class rank, if you choose to submit it, you will be able to see what your rank is at that time after this semester. So SAT and ACT scores, as Mr. Lee spoke on earlier, there will be some universities such as UT who has already decided to forego requiring test scores for admissions applications. So it will not be required most likely by a lot of universities again this school year for you to submit a SAT or ACT score. If you do plan to submit one, it is okay, you still can. Especially if you have a score that you think might help you as far as applying to a university and getting in, or let's say you know that this score might help you as far as scholarship consideration, you can still submit it. So unlike your transcripts, like I spoke on earlier, let's say you don't have your desired test score by the time we get to your senior year, there will be SAT and SAT testing sites offering the test in the fall. So you can wait to send that test score in to some of these universities like a UT or A&M that have those fall deadlines, so they can accept your score and evaluate your application with your test score. Extracurricular activities is something that will also be asked for. This could be something that you will use that can be on your resume, or most applications, it will be spots on that admissions application for you to list the different extracurricular activities that you've been involved in. You want to make sure that you're listing any leadership positions you've held, as president, vice president. Maybe you helped found organization or club on the campus of Bel Air. These are things that you want to make sure that you're inputting into your application, because I promise they can only help you. Essays. So essays will be shown and offered for you to upload or complete on Apply Texas Common App Coalition. You can decide to do them at the time of the application, but most of you all will have to submit your application, then upload your essay later. Different schools have different requirements for their essays. I answered a question about essays earlier where I explained this. So for example, if you're applying to a UT, they have topic A essay, which they require, which you all can actually go on the website and look at now. If you already kind of want to start drafting or getting an idea of what you have to answer. And then, for example, UTSA as well as UHD, they do topic C essay, which is a totally different question than topic A. So essays kind of vary for the schools that actually require them, because you have schools like University of Houston that do not require essay at all. So essays are something that you want to make sure that when you're doing your research, if your school requires it or not, that way you can now begin preparing for that and drafting those essays. Like I spoke on earlier, resume, this is somewhere you can list your extracurricular activities, any athletic accomplishments maybe that you want to mention, Eagle Scouts, leadership, employment information as well. Obviously, your resume isn't like an employee resume, so your student resume can be longer than one page. You can list everything that you want to, and you can list if you've had any jobs that you've worked while being a student at Bel Air. Letters of recommendation. I answered a few questions about this as well. The biggest question that was asked was, when can I start asking my teachers for letters of recommendation? We always recommend to be sure that you ask your teachers at least a month, 30 days before you need to send it in. But I also want to suggest that if you already know that the schools you're applying to require letters of recommendation, you already have the teachers that are in mind that you know that you're probably going to ask or want to ask, you can start reaching out to them as early as the end of this school year and definitely well into the summer, just to let them know, hey, I know I'm going to apply to UT this year. I do want to submit 2 letters of recommendation. You're a teacher that I think would do a great recommendation for me. I just want to let you know now, that way when the time comes, you're not just springing it on them for them to write it. You can also start preparing your brag sheet now. You can start sending that out to your teachers at the end of this year or going into the summer. That way they already have it on file, and that gives them time to work on your letter of rec. Now, we will usually suggest it for you all to request your letter of recommendation on Naviance to teachers and counselors at Bel Air. You all are not supposed to get your recommendation letters back and then send them to the university. It will be sent directly from the recommender to the university, and they will be attached to your application. So we want to make sure that you identify your application type for your top 3 schools. So if you know that your top 3 schools are probably going to require an essay, or you're going to have to send a letter of recommendation, make sure you identify that type to kind of give you an idea of how exactly you want to start building your application and the things that you need to start working on. Do you need to start working on topic A essay now, or do you need to start working on topic C or topic B? Do you need to get these letters of rec now? Do you need a resume? You want to make sure when you're doing this research, you're identifying exactly what you're going to need for your application. That way you're not trying to scramble at the last minute to get all of the requirements and documents that you need to send in. Skip the slide. So admissions. Assured admissions. All Texas public universities and some out of state have some type of assured admissions. So assured admissions is your guaranteed admissions to that university. It's a combination of your GPA and class rank and test scores. So for example, all Texas public universities offer assured admission to top 10% ranked students in Texas high schools. Aside from University of Texas at Austin, they do top 6%. So aside from UT, every other Texas public school, so A&M, Baylor, Texas Tech, UH, all these universities, they offer automatic assured admission into their university if you are top 10%. Holistic review. So holistic review, I spoke about this because I had a question about Rice. Everything that makes you a student. So grades, essay, rec letters, test scores, involvements, extracurricular activities, jobs, hardships. They take all of this into account as into your admissions process. So let's say you're applying to UT and you're outside of the top 6, or you're applying to A&M and you're outside of the top 10. You will then be reviewed upon everything that you submit. So grades, they'll look at your transcripts to see exactly maybe the major or program you applied for, exactly where your grades fall into that program. Your essays will definitely hold a lot of weight. Recs, Rec letters is something that you want to make sure you get sent in on time and have great recommenders that actually know you. Test scores, if you have them, then you can decide to send this in to be a part of the holistic review process. Like we said earlier, some schools will be foregoing the requirement of the test score. So then you will be able to still be reviewed without that test score, but I can assure you that other things will be taken into account a lot highly since you won't have a test score submitted. So your grades will hold a lot more weight, as well as your essay, short answer questions if they're required, extracurricular activities. So you want to know exactly where you're going to fall as far as this review process. If you plan on applying to a school that does review, or if you're applying to a school where you fall into the review process due to where you are ranked or due to your GPA. Early decision and early action. So this is the process of if you want to get a earlier notification about your admissions to a certain school. Now, the difference is for early decision, if you do decide to do ED or EA to the school, if you are accepted, you will have to go to that university. So you want to be sure that if you do decide to choose this option, that this is a university that you are comfortable going to. You've already talked it over with mom and dad. This location is where a place you're comfortable being. This price is a price you're okay paying, because you will be locked into this university if you decide to go there. If you are accepted, you can still apply to other schools, but if you are accepted to that school and you did choose the ED process, then you will have to go to that university. So make sure that's somewhere that you definitely want to go to. Early admissions options. So early decision, early action, single choice. So to speak on this a little more, you can only apply early decision to one college. If that college accepts you, like I said, you must go there. That's why these plans are referred to and defined as binding. Some colleges have two early deadlines, ED1 and ED2. The second deadline gives you more time to decide whether to apply early decision or not. So if you're not sure exactly if you want to ED that school yet, because you're just not sold on it, or you still want to do some more research, you can wait until the ED2 deadline to actually apply. Although you may apply to additional colleges through the regular admissions process, you must withdraw all of those applications. So if you apply to ED at one university, and then you apply to 9 other universities, and you get into that ED university, you will then have to withdraw all your other applications if you're accepted to that ED school. Like I said earlier, you will have to go there if you decide. So for early action, you can actually apply to more than one school early action. It's not as strict as ED. If you're accepted, you can say yes right away, or you can wait until the spring semester to decide if you want to go there. Now for early action, you can decline the offer if you are offered admission to that university. So ED, you cannot decline, you have to go there. Early action, you can decline, and you can decide to go to another university that you were admitted. So single choice early action. You can apply early to only one college. Otherwise, these plans work the same as other early action plans. You can still apply to other colleges through the regular admissions process. You don't have to give your final answer to the early application college in the spring. So single choice early action, you can wait until the spring to give your answer. If you want to decide early, you can, but decide early action, you do not have. Slide, if it lets me. Okay, send your brag sheet. So your brag sheet is what you will use to send to your counselors when it's time for you to start requesting letters of recommendation. So now that we expect that, of course, for your counselors and your teachers to, of course, know who you are, but this brag sheet gives them a better idea of when they're writing your letter of recommendation to see exactly what they can include in there about you, and maybe some things that you want to make sure they include in there about you. So you can find this brag sheet on Bel Air's website. I want to make sure you save the document and complete it. Give this to teachers and counselors so they can write your letters of recommendation. There is a parent section as well for your parents to fill out. Keep extra copies for scholarship applications. So the college applications are not the only process you're going to need to have letters of recommendations for. When you all begin to apply into some of these private scholarships, such as Houston Rodeo Scholarship, you will need letters of recommendations for those as well. So we don't want you all losing or accidentally deleting your brag sheet, and now you got to make another one for scholarships. You can still use that same brag sheet to send to your recommenders for those scholarship applications as well. Ask your counselors and teachers in person if you can. Obviously, we're not sure exactly where we're going to be come this time in the fall as we start the college application process. So make sure you all are at least sending an email, setting up a virtual visit with your counselor or teachers to ask for this scholarship, to ask for this letter of recommendation. As I said earlier, we would like for you all to ask at least within 30 days before you need the letter of recommendation. But you can start asking as early as this summer if you already know exactly what teachers you're going to use for your letter of rec. So the prescription for your brag sheet is complete your senior brag sheet by May 1st. Have this done, that way you can start requesting those letters of rec at the end of the year or by the summertime. Identify at least 3 potential recommenders, 2 teachers and 1 other, and give them your brag sheet by the last day of school. I spoke earlier answering questions in the chat saying that if you're going to ask your teachers, try to have at least 1 core subject teacher if you can. A lot of universities want to be sure that they have a recommendation from a core subject teacher. And by core subject, I mean math, science, English, or history. Resume. So in your college resume, it does differ a little bit from an actual employer resume. Include a description and list of details. So if you're listing a activity or club that you were in, don't just put drama club or debate team. You can kind of put a little bullet points or short little paragraph description about what you did, what your position was, any accomplishments that you might have had while you were in or participating in events with this organization. Look at the Carly Cardinal resume on the College Center website. Save a copy and edit. So we have a draft already of a resume you all can choose from, and you can actually download that, save it, and edit it to put your information in, and that'll make the resume process a lot easier for you. That way you all don't have to start from scratch creating one. College do not want to see you are involved in 10 different activities. Make sure you're listing the activities down that you believe this college most likely wants to see from you, especially any leadership. Leadership will always take priority. So if you're president, vice president, treasurer, founder of any club or organization here at Bel Air, you want to make sure you list those, but you do not have to list every single activity or everything that you have done during your time at Bel Air. Colleges are looking for 2 to 3 activities you are passionate about inside and outside of your school. So if you assist with some community organization outside of your school, like maybe you assist at the Houston Food Bank, or maybe you assist with your church or some kind of community building organization, you can list that on there as well. It does not necessarily have to be specific things that are only at Bel Air, such as sports or clubs. And show this on your application. You want to indicate that you submitted your resume, and that there's a portion on some of the applications that asks for information. You can list it there as well. So we'd like for you to have your resume created by July 1st, and you want to make sure you use that Carly Cardinal template for building it, just to make it a little easier on yourself with making that resume. Summertime. So this summer, we want to make sure you all visit onejump.org to find out more information about different programs, internships, jobs, and some volunteer hours. That way you all aren't just sitting around this summer. It's looking like Texas is going to open up a lot more. So that means there'll probably be a lot more opportunities in person for you all to participate in for some internships. And you want to make sure you take advantage of those, because these are things that you can go back and list on their resume when it's time to start submitting those. Visit the College Center website for opportunities. We will have opportunities listed for students to take advantage of during the summer. Essay workshops will begin being hosted in June. Last summer, I was able to host a series of different pop-up presentations regarding essays, kind of some starting information regarding financial aid, scholarships, college applications. So make sure you all are tuning into those. That way you can kind of get some of those questions answered a little early. And when it's time for your application to open after August 1st, you can start submitting those applications, and you already know what you're supposed to do, because Mr. Lee and Mr. Stewart were already kind of coaching you through it at the beginning of the summer. Work on your resume and your brag sheet this summer. Be sure that if you aren't able to send it in yet on their last day of school, make sure you're working on it this summer so you can get that brag sheet to your recommenders, so they can get that letter of recommendation done by the time school starts. And work on their resume. Make sure you're including the right things like we said earlier, and if you do decide to participate in any activities this summer, you can add those activities to your college resume. So summer activity, make sure you complete a summer activity. Check out postings on the College Center website. So like I said earlier, any programs, internships, or jobs, and attend those summer essay workshops. I promise that we'll be able to give you all great information over what to include on your essay. I previously worked as an admissions counselor for the University of Texas. So if you hear me all hear me reference UT a lot. That's why. And I did have to read students' essays, and I can definitely assist you all on what these colleges are looking for as far as reading your essays when it comes to those admissions applications. We know exactly what to list, what we want to hear about, how to answer those prompts. So make sure you attend the essay workshops this summer. That way you all get some great information before you even have to start writing your essays. Different Bel Air resources. I would like to think you all are taking advantage of all of these, but I know for sure we're going to continue to have to remind you. But if you all need to take a picture, whatever you need to do, please make sure you take advantage of the resources on this slide. BelAir.org, we have our college center page up. Like we said, we'll have different opportunities listed for you all, but as well as some of these other resources. So Big Future College Board, good for research and cost comparisons. So I got some questions earlier just asking about majors and if this school offers this major, how much the school may be, can I get into the school? This is the type of website you can use to get those questions answered. Does this college have the major you're interested in? Is the cost in a good range for you and your family? The location, as far as how far is it away from home? Are you willing to go across the country? Do you want to stay an hour from Houston? You can use these type of websites to find out that different information during your research. Good for college statistics is College Scorecard. You can kind of look at some of this stuff. Maybe you want to see some data, some admissions data as far as students that they've admitted off of GPA, test scores, how many students got into that program, what scores did these students have when they were admitted. So you want to make sure you take advantage of that as well. College Data does the same thing as all admissions, and I can tell you now, I've even used collegedata.com before. Back when I was in school or looking for where I wanted to apply to, even for grad school, I used it. So you want to make sure you look at these different, you look at this website to kind of see some of that admissions information. College Board. I got a lot of SAT questions earlier. This is where you can go for SAT prep and register and sign up for the SAT. If you also think you might qualify for a fee waiver, this is also where you can access your SAT fee waiver. ACTstudent.org, this is where you can find obviously ACT prep and sign up for the ACT. So remember, College Board is SAT, and then you can actually go to the ACT website to access ACT. Common App presentation as well. I believe this is a link just kind of describing exactly the Common App, and you can all use this to see exactly how it will be able to work. Common App and Apply Texas are not too much different, but we have found that some students prefer one over the other. So once we get to that time to start applying, you all can kind of go over the presentation and decide which one you think works best for you. The Emerge spot, this is just lists for different college opportunities and resources for essays, as well as Big Future essay. And Cash for Cards scholarship listings. So I answered a question about this earlier. This is a Excel sheet that me and Mr. Lee update just about every 2 to 3 weeks with the new scholarships for you all to apply to. So you want to make sure you're scrolling through this list next year when you all are seniors to see exactly, okay, can I qualify for any scholarships due this month? You might be able to, you might apply for one, you might not see any, and then you come back the next month and see what we've added, because we will add scholarships on there just about every 3 to 4 weeks. All right. Prescription for healthy college preparation tips. So complete the Google form for Naviance emails and texts. You want to make sure that you all are checking your email. Me and Mr. Lee will send you all some emails going into the summer, actually starting the end of this school year, but definitely going into the summer as well as next year. You all want to get accustomed to checking your email. I can promise you in college, you are going to live and die by that email. That is how professors, advisors, any employers that maybe if you work on campus, that is how you're going to be contacted. So you want to make sure you all get used to checking the email. Me and Mr. Lee are going to start sending you all emails just regarding anything that you all need to be looking out for as far as the college application process and any presentations that we'll be doing for you all next year as well. Add colleges you're interested to your colleges I'm thinking about. You can start creating this list on Naviance now. Just that way we can already have it on our side if we need to notify you all any things that are going on with this college. And this is how we can notify you when our admissions counselor from that college is coming to give you all some information. So you want to make sure you add these schools to your list. That way you know when we have a recruiter to come by and talk to you all, and you can ask some of those questions that me and Mr. Lee may not be able to answer for you directly for these specific universities. So take at least one assessment under the About Me tab in Naviance. This is just an assessment to kind of get an idea of the type of student you are, and Naviance will be able to know exactly what information to send towards you and what schools to kind of direct you way as well. But use the Khan Academy for SAT to prepare for April 23rd school day SAT. Be sure that you use the Khan Academy SAT to prepare. You want to make sure that you're taking advantage of this for your free SAT granting. I know you all just took the SAT, so this date is isn't updated, and that's okay. But if you all are planning to take the SAT, I believe there's one that will be offered in May as well as June, July, right, this summer. You all can be sure to use Khan Academy to prepare for that one because we want to make sure you all get the highest score that you can. You'll complete all SAT and ACT tests by the start of your senior year. As I said earlier, if you have not gotten that desired score, you can continue to take the SAT or ACT within your senior year, but you want to make sure that you're trying your best to get that desired score before you start school next year. And for those schools that do require deadlines as far as like November or December 1st, such as UT and A&M, you want to try to have that score before then. That way it can be a part of your application. Create that list of 3 criteria you're looking for in the school. So make sure that list of 3 has the things you care about the most. Maybe you want to make sure you go to a big school. Maybe you want to make sure you go to a small school. Maybe you want to make sure you have, you want to make sure you're at least within 3 hours of home. Maybe you don't care how far you are from Houston. You can go all the way to New York for school if you want to. Make sure you just create that through that list because that's going to help us iron out exactly what schools you're looking for or what type of schools you should be doing research on and possibly applying to come late summer. Visit at least 2 college campuses before the start of the senior year. As Mr. Lee spoke earlier, Texas is starting to open back up, so we'll see exactly how the world is come late summer, early fall, and if college campuses are accepting tours again. But you can definitely go online and take advantage of those virtual tours. It's just about every school was offering one this past school year since no students were able to come. Come to at least 3 college lunch visits between now and December. There are going to be plenty of schools that come by even within these next 3 months, 2 to 3 months we have left of school. And as well, starting next school year, we'll have plenty of different college reps coming by just to meet with you all. Go to at least 3. If you see a college on there that you've added to your colleges I'm thinking about list, stop by there just to get some information because maybe they'll tell you some information that will make you fall in love with the school even more, or maybe they'll tell you some information where you're like, I don't think this is the place for me. And this will just kind of help us narrow down that list of schools that you might be thinking about. So make sure you stop by for those lunch visits. Research the cost of attendance for your top 3 schools. It's possible that the top 3 schools that you have that you know you want to go to might be well out of your price range. So make sure that you're looking into that cost of attendance. That way they'll let you know. You can talk to your family and just say, hey, I want to go to this school. This is what the cost is looking like right now without scholarships. I'm going to do my best that I can to apply for and be rewarded some scholarships, but this is the cost. So you can kind of shorten your list a little by that criteria as well, because the school might be well out of your price range and you're not sure if you'll be able to go there or not. Identify the application type for your top 3 schools. So identify what type of application that school requires. Are they holistic, such as like a UT and A&M, or maybe like a Rice? Do they have assured admission for top 10%? Do they only require just test score, GPA, and applications such as like a UH? You can look at what exactly some of these schools require because a lot of schools that you apply to, it's possible they won't require an essay, or it's possible that every application you fill out will. So identify the top those application types for your top 3 schools as well. Complete your senior brag sheet and ask recommenders by last day of school. So make sure you reach out to those teachers before the last day of school, and definitely get it on their mind by at least the summertime. That way they know that you're going to be needing a letter of recommendation from them. Create your resume by July 1st. Take advantage of that template that we have listed on Bel Air's website, and attend a summer essay workshop and create drafts for at least 2 college essays. So if you know you're applying to one university that has topic A or another university that has topic C, or you're applying to a university outside the state of Texas that requires a totally different essay, make sure you want to be in a position where you're not writing them last minute to submit your application. So make sure you create that draft in time this summer. That way you already kind of have it together what you're going to write, and then you can adjust it accordingly before you submit them. And make sure you do something this summer. Do something that's going to help you as far as your college application process. Any of the things I spoke of above will be sufficient. Or even if you're planning on joining any different organizations, internships, jobs, volunteer work, make sure you're all doing something this summer instead of staying in the house playing on your PS5 or your Xbox. Hopefully PS5, because I don't like Xbox. Make sure you're all doing what you need to this summer, okay?
Thank you so much, Mr. Stewart. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Unfortunately, we have went over time and will not be able to do the senior panel today. However, I do want to make it up to you all, so we are going to try to schedule a lunchtime event during the when we get back from spring break. Excuse me. So in the meantime, we want to say thank you all for attending today. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen as we get ready to wrap up today's presentation. Um, Here's our information. So again, I'm Mr. Devontae Lee on the left. We just had Mr. Marcus Stewart. Our email addresses are here if you want to contact us. Am I sharing my screen? I was not. Sorry. There we go. Okay, there we go. So here's our information if you would like to contact us. Also, starting the Tuesday when we get back from spring break, every Tuesday from 12:20 to 1:20, we will have 22 Tuesdays where we help our junior class just learn about what some of the updates are for the upcoming year, answer any questions that you all may have in a group setting, and just help you all navigate the college application process. And that'll probably be when we have the senior panel the Tuesday we get back from spring break. So be on the lookout for that information. Come ask any questions that you may have. If you're interested in scheduling a one-on-one appointment with either myself or Mr. Stewart, you all can start that as soon as we get back from spring break. And you're going to go to the bit.ly link on the screen. So that's bit.ly/BelAirCC. It is case sensitive, so make sure you capitalize the B and the C's, and we can make sure we get you taken care of in a one-on-one appointment. But this should be enough information to get you all through the next couple of months. I will be emailing this presentation out to you all with some additional handouts and reminders. So one more time, we wanted to just say thank you to the class of 2022. We're excited to start this journey with you all for the next 18 months. And we promise you, if you listen to us and follow our directions every step of the way, we will make sure that you are set up for success for whatever your plans are after high school. One more time, my name is Mr. Lee. Thank you all so much for attending today. Goodbye.